Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is about codependency. If this is your first time here, please subscribe, and as always, hit that notification bell. Question of the day is, are you codependent? I got 5 ways for you to find out right now. So put your feet up, relax. I am the comfortable counselor. I'm here to help you write your chapter 2. Let's do this. So before we get into the ways you can find out whether you are codependent, let's talk about some of the myths that are often out there that people think those who are codependent fall into some kind of category, or maybe like it happens to those people only. Okay, so let's clarify. Number 1, codependency is not a mental illness. It's not a mental illness, and it's not a sign that you're going to have one or you're going crazy. That's not that whatsoever. It's just a pattern of beliefs and coping skills and coping mechanisms that happen to be brought with you as you grow up, or you are in situations where you are learning basically what I call survival skills. Another myth is only the weak-minded are people who are codependent. This is not true whatsoever. There are people who are successful, smart, intelligent, creative, powerful people who also have the side of them where they need to fix things. Okay, I'll get more to that a little later, but it isn't just for people who are having problems in their own life in regards to just weak-mindedness and don't have the mental or emotional stature. Okay, other thing is the myth is codependency only happens to those people who are in relationships with people who are addicted. That is true to a point. It happens a little bit in regards to people, if I'm with somebody who is having kind of a behavior addiction and my need to try to fix them all the time, yeah, that does happen sometimes, but that's only a small percentage, okay? What else? Codependency only affects women. No, that is not true. Men also fall into that category, but women are seen as being more susceptible to that because they are in a caretaking role. But in reality, as society changes and we are seeing men as also caretakers, that viewpoint, that perception about men not being able to be codependent is being taken away. So what I'm trying to say is men and women both can be codependent. So 5 ways you can find out whether or not you are in a codependent relationship, or rather, are you the one being codependent? So number 1 is you find yourself in relationships that are kind of troubled and needy. You find yourself with people who always have some kind of drama going on, and you're always kind of with them and trying to help them. You get caught up in that and you feel, oh, if I can just be part of their life, then I can help them. I see them as having problems, or maybe you see them as being broken, like, oh, I have so much going for me, let me try to give what I have with them. And they seem to be needy and really they can't get their stuff together, right? They can't get it all worked out, and hey, there's you come in and kind of save the day, right? Or people who are attracted to you, like, hey, why do I get the ones who are always broken or needy? Or I always find myself in these relationships. There might be a common denominator here. Okay, so there's that, number 1. Number 2, you find yourself always trying to take care of somebody else. You feel this overwhelming need to fix them, help them, be there for them, whether it be time, love, energy, resources, monetary things, whatever. You feel like you have to take the responsibility to make sure they're okay, make sure the kids are quiet so they don't get upset, make sure that this goes right in their life so they can be okay. You're trying to have some kind of 3-ring circus going on, where you're trying to be the one to make sure everything is good, all right, so that they can be okay. Next one, number 3, I believe it is, about whether you are codependent or not, is you have a hard time with self-acceptance and feeling understood by others. People who are codependent have trouble with their self-esteem, and they often also have trouble with perfectionism because they see that as a marker of being able to say, hey, I am good enough because I am perfect in these areas, which can be kind of traced back to their childhood where, for whatever reason, they felt the need to be perfect, and people are saying, oh, that's great, look at you, you're doing so well in school, or doing so well in your band class, or drama, or whatever you got going on. People praised you, and then you use that as a marker of like, oh, I must be okay. But what happens is, because you can't maintain that perfectionism kind of energy all the time, you begin to self-doubt yourself. And one way to help yourself feel good about yourself and to feel worthy is try to help somebody else. Oh, I must be a good person if I can help them out. See how well I'm doing to help them? See, I must be a good person. Next one, number 4, you settle for being needed. We all like to feel needed. I like to feel needed. I like being a counselor because I like being needed in this role. But what happens is we settle for just being needed and not having our needs met. We're so concerned with, I guess, the minimum requirements is all that we need, you know? Well, you can think to yourself, as long as they need me, then that's all I need. I don't need any of these things. I don't need the blah, 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 blah. I just know that I'm here for you and that's good enough for me. That is not good enough. You don't have your needs met. Emotional, psychological, those needs, even physical needs being met. Maybe it'd be great for them to take care of you once in a while, right? But no, you, for some reason, you're okay with a minimum because you don't want to make anything, I don't know, hard on them because, well, you're trying to take care of them. So you don't, why would you want to put them out to take care of you? Because that's uncomfortable for you. Why is that? All right. Last one here. You find yourself redefining your boundaries. I talk about boundaries all the time. Boundaries are good. They're healthy. They help us to love people from afar, keep ourselves and our autonomy intact. We are able to preserve ourselves, our energy, and our self-love. We have to set those boundaries. And that may make people angry sometimes, but you set the boundaries, but you're always moving that line of the boundary. You may say, I'm never going to do this, okay? But then what happens is, well, just this one time, I'll let you do A, B, and C, okay? And then what happens is you get into a habit of doing that, and it's very inconsistent with the other person, so the messages you're sending to them are confusing, and also you're confusing to yourself because you think, well, what kind of person do I am? You know, I am always redefining my boundaries and saying no in the beginning, but yes later. That's a form of control that you think you have over your boundaries, but what it really does is just makes everybody confused, including yourself. So, you don't want to do that. You want to have your boundaries, but also stick with them. Okay, so you're thinking to yourself, well, thanks, comfortable counselor. Now I know I'm codependent. What do I do about it? Well, you see, there are a few things you need to do, and basically it just comes down to self-awareness, self-love, self-compassion. But also, there are some things with intimacy where you're not comfortable with having that communication with someone where you have differences in your relationship, and you just need to be okay with that. And I'll make another video about what to do about codependency, but for right now, it basically starts with you being okay with being autonomous, being interdependent. Codependent means you guys need to be with each other no matter what, and it's unhealthy in regards to the payoff for each person. And then there's totally independent, where I don't need you, I don't need no man, I don't need no woman, I need myself, right? You want to be interdependent. We all need people to get along with, okay? So you are yourself, your own person with your own boundaries, but you recognize that no person can do it by themselves, and so you depend on them in a healthy way, but also being who you are. And sometimes that creates anxiety, the thought of sharing yourself with somebody else and accepting that they may be different than you and may not agree with everything that you have to say, but you guys are still okay, okay? So that's what we're talking about, is just interdependency. Stephen R. Covey, that is from The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Great book, read it sometime. Anyway, so be you. So this is what my video is about this week. Remember, I am the Comfortable Counselor, helping you to write your chapter 2. Check out my other videos. I come out with them every Sunday. Hit that notification bell, subscribe, leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up. Have a good week.